Harlem is such a cauldron for intellectual life, such a place that is at once welcoming but also challenging. And I think of the openings of exhibitions at the Studio Museum back when I was there, and how not only would you see artists and curators and neighbors, but the artists who were there almost seemed to be having many homecomings, particularly if the exhibition was the work of a living artist. But there was a community that, as I said, welcomed people, but also kept people on their toes. You got the sense that with Jake, or with Romy Bearden, or Vincent Smith, or some of the younger artists like Nanette Carter, or the great printmaker Bob Blackburn, that when they convened, they would, and Melvin Edwards and Bill Williams and a ton of others, they would talk to each other about the exhibitions. And that notion of mentors and generations of artists, the fact that Alston mentored Lawrence, and then that Lawrence became a mentor even before he started teaching in Seattle, he really was someone that other artists looked up to. And so to me, Harlem is about standards as well. It's about the notion of the highest standards in music or literature or dance. You have the great Apollo Theater down the street from the Studio Museum and the Dance Theater of Harlem, and now newer places like Harlem Stage, and older places, Jazzmobile and the great Schomburg. Those places embedded right in the community were about excellence. And so when you look at the work of Alston or Savage, though Jake's work isn't like that work, it's about that standard of excellence and about that pushing, experimentation, and a kind of courage. Because I always think of artists who produced at the time that Jake did and his predecessors, what a tough time it was to be a black artist. It was a tough time to be a black person. And you think, what courage and also what sense of self that I can be an artist. I was always so impressed by that. And so Harlem was and is this place where someone could come to be tested, to be measured, but in a way that encouraged one's growth and development. So you couldn't bring any baloney on stage, just like the guy with the hook at the Apollo. If you weren't good, somebody would let you know. But it was also all about the development of the artist, the development of the art. And I think that was something that Jake was lucky enough to be part of. And I think he understood what a privilege it was to have been trained in Harlem.